how do you feel about Dave Rubin coming out and saying he's no longer an atheist?
I think it's just hilarious and embarrassing. Like that's what a sad character. He's just so sad. Like when you hear, okay, so like we were talking about Destiny. I think Destiny believes everything he's talking about. I think he's, just more centrist than me, and he's out there making his case, but he's honest, you know. In the case of Dave Rubin, he's just like he really is just a pure grifter. Like that's it. That's all. It's all just looking for angles and trying to find his little niche. And it's just sad because he's like a hopeless soul floating around in the ether, just trying to find a way to fit in and have a niche. And it's amazing to me that some people still don't see through it. But basically, everybody in public life kind of now sees through it and just sees how embarrassing it is and how this guy he never really believed anything he was saying. He was just trying to he's one of those guys who like just kind of, he wanted to be known, he wanted to be famous, and he couldn't make it in other ways. So he just kind of settled on, I guess I'll do like political stuff. And he explains his existence, and that explains what he's doing now. And I think that's clear to see at this point.
Yeah, I even saw some. I don't know if you know Chris Raygun or the YouTuber Some Black Guy, but they're both like anti-SJW YouTubers. Even they were like making fun of him for that.
And he's notoriously vicious behind the scenes. Where if he thinks you're saying something against him and you're somewhat of an ally to him, he'll like text you and reach out to you and call you and be like, "Hey man, what the hell? Why are you doing that?" Like it's hilarious because he does this whole like, "Me bro, I'm against social justice warriors. I'm against snowflakes." And then behind the scenes, he is the biggest of all the snowflakes. Anybody who criticizes him even a little bit, he's like trying to get in touch with them and saying like, "What are you doing this for, man?"
Do you have any stories of that to tell?
No, I do. The one story that I have already told publicly is that there was a time when he was still at TYT and me and him were friendly, and every now and then we would DM and chat a little bit. And then the Israel issue came up, and then he kept I swear to God, it was for like a week or two. Every day he would DM me some sort of story about how Palestinians are evil and Israelis are awesome. And then eventually I was trying to be nice about it, but I was like, hey man, listen, I can't really debate this now. I got stuff that I got to handle and got these issues at home or whatever. And he then like a year later used that to try to say to me publicly, like on Twitter, something along the lines of like, and he couldn't even debate the issue with me of Israel because obviously I know what I'm talking about and he doesn't know what he's talking about. And I had to respond and I was like, dude, that was just my nice way of trying to like put you down and say like, get the fuck out of my DMs. I don't want to talk to you about this anymore because you're annoying and you're super biased. Like I was just trying to let him off and be like, okay, let's like slightly tiptoe away from this topic and just not discuss this. But he interpreted that as like, weak Kyle doesn't even want to like stand for his positions or whatever.
When did you realize he was a grifter?
Um, I think probably. I mean, when he had the total political transformation overnight, where all of a sudden he's like, everybody he invites on his show is a hardcore right winger. It's like, oh wait, I thought you were doing the whole like, battlefield of ideas thing, but it turns out really you're just creating a safe space for conservative thought. If you really believe in the battle of ideas, then you would obviously have on communists, have on Marxists, talk to them, because that's an outsider ideology, is it not? But no, he doesn't do that. He just made a conservative safe space, and I was like, oh, so he's just like a total hack, and he found an angle to be more lucrative. So that's when I realized.
How do you think he keeps it up? Like, don't you feel like there would be some sort of like feeling horrible for just lying to people about your political beliefs and just like making shit
Well,
up?
no, because he's just shameless. Like he doesn't have that thing in his head, which is like constantly monitoring your actions and saying like, "Oh, good job. Oh, what you said here is true. Oh, what you said here is false. Don't do that again. I'm going to give you a bad feeling because you said something that's not true." He doesn't have that governor in his head. That's not there. So for him, he's just almost kind of like Trump in a way, how Trump just kind of exists and says whatever the hell he wants. At least in the case of Trump, it's hilarious sometimes. With Rubin, it's not hilarious. It's just sad. Like he doesn't have that thing that makes him feel shame, because or else he would have packed it in a long time ago. Dude, his entire Reddit is like people just dunking on him.
Yeah, it is.
Like think about how sad that is. Think about how sad that's supposed to be your fans, dog. And now your own people turned on you. So yeah, he's always been on borrowed time, because if you don't believe in what you're talking about, then how the hell are you going to have longevity? It's not going to it's like a musician who was a one-hit wonder, right? And then what happens? You never hear from them again. They try to stay relevant. They try to do stuff to stay in the spotlight, but everybody's like, you were that one-hit wonder. That one song was good, but everything else was whack. The only people who have staying power actually believe in what they're talking about. And he obviously